Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So now in this video, I will explain my practice to create database and make a query to show database uh, as the instruction on the task as to. So let's go to the code. So as we can see here, you can see the code here. I use a shell to initializing my query. So let's go direct attention to the terminal. The very first step in our practicum is to create a dedicated environment for our data. So the command is create database and then my student ID, and then record one. This is the command at the task that laboratory assistant give to me. So I just follow it. And then we can see the query is use the database that already I've made. We should write the name of the database same as we created, so the query is not error. And then we create a table that called transaction table. As we can see here, this is the core of our DDL exercise. We need a table record to every transaction that occurs. And then the first one, the data is ID transaction or ID transaction, auto increment, and then primary key. This is the backbone of our table. ENC define that integer and primary key means every values in this column must be entirely unique and cannot be null. It is the unique identifier for the row. And then auto increment is a great convenience feature. It means we don't have to manually input this ID when inserting data. The database will automatically generate the next sequential number for us. And then the next is tanggal transaksi date. We use the date data type because we only need the year, month, and day for the specific column with the exact time of day. And then we have nama pelanggan or customer name. We use varchar data type here. And then we have jenis transaksi or transaction type. We use varchar2 for the type, and then category or category. What it is in English? Yeah, something like that. And the data type is varchar 15. We use varchar, which standard for variable character, unlike char, which takes up a fixed amount of storage. Varchar only use as much storage as the actual text requires. And then moving to jumlah or the total or amount, we use decimal here. This is very important design choice. We're dealing with financial amounts or currency, so you never use float or double because those are approximate data types that can cause rounding errors. Decimal is an exact precision data type. The 15 and 2 mean the number can have up to 15 digits in total with exactly 2 digits after the decimal point, which is perfect for representing rupiah or dollars. The next is metode pembayaran or payment method. We use varchar again. And then we have status. We use enum data type. enum is a string object with a value choose from a permitted list. By using enum, we are enforcing data integrity at the database level. Okay, and then the last is create add. And we use timestamp default current timestamp. While tanggal transaksi might record the data the user initiated the payment, create add automatically records the exact server timestamp down to the second when the record was actually returned to the database. Okay, move down to the alter table command in the first screenshot. So, this command is modifies the existing transaction table structure by appending a new column. We define it as a varchar of 15. Most importantly, we apply the unique constraint similar to a primary key. Unique ensure that no two transactions can ever have the same transaction code, preventing massive errors in our billing system. The query executes successfully. And then let's move to inserting batch data. So, here the syntax is insert into transaction followed by a list of the specific column we are providing data for. Because we are relying on auto increment ID transaction and the default timestamp for create add, we simply commit them for this list. The databases will handle them automatically. So, following the values keyword, we supply the actual data. Notice that we are executing a batch insert or bulk insert instead of writing 15 separate insert into query, which would require the database engine to parse and execute 15 individual operations. We wrap multiple tuples of data in parameters separated by commas. This is significantly faster and much more efficient for database performance. So now we can see the select query block. So our database is now populated. The most common DML operation is retrieving data, which we do using the select statement. For this practicum task, the goal is not just to fill all data, but to extract very specific information. Let's analyze the query I've written. First is the projection phase. Instead of using select all to pull every single column which wastes memory and bandwidth, I'm explicitly requesting only three columns: that ID transaksi, nama pelanggan, and kode transaksi. We only pull what we strictly need. Next, the firm clause simply identifies the source table. Then we have the selection of our filtering phase using the where clause. We only want to see transactions that failed on were aborted by setting the condition. Status is same like cancel. The database engine iterates through all 15 rows and filters out any row where the status is success or pending. Finally, for readability, we use order by ID transaction ASC. This ensures our final output is neatly sorted sequentially by the transaction ID and ascending order from lowest to highest. Looking at the terminal output, the MariaDB returned exactly 3 rows. We can clearly see that transaction ID 5 belonging to Eka, transaction ID 9 belonging to Indah, and transaction ID 15 belonging to Oka are the ones with a cancelled status. So maybe that's all for the explanation. That's all from me. I'm sorry if there's any mistake in my presentation. So that's all. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.